Hey, what's up guys? Dan here. Hope you guys are doing absolutely amazing today, and I hope you guys are ready for a complete step-by-step guide to making money on Amazon FBA. Every single step, all the way from creating your Seller Central account to actually making money, finding your product, branding, scaling, all that stuff. I'm going to try to fit into this one video. We're going to go ahead and explain every single thing, every single part of Amazon FBA, and kind of like the journey. And I'm going to give you guys an appropriate timeline of how long it's going to actually take to start making money and exactly what you need to do to get it going. So my channel has been growing super fast lately, and obviously I am insanely grateful for you guys. Thank you for watching the videos, and obviously you guys see the value, and I'm very happy to be making these videos for you guys. Not only Amazon FBA, but entrepreneurship, passive income, the mindset. I believe that every single person watching these videos, every single person has the right to financial freedom, personal freedom, being able to live their dreams, being able to travel the world, do whatever it is they want, buy whatever they want. It's only going to take a little bit of work, and it's only going to take a little bit of learning, putting in the effort, and emulating success. Now with Amazon FBA, you've got to know what to expect, all right? So the very first thing we're going to talk about is, what is Amazon FBA? All right, so a couple of years ago, actually I was thinking of selling on Amazon, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, back before Amazon Prime even existed. And back then, it was much, much harder to sell on Amazon. And I believe a couple of years ago, Amazon released Amazon FBA, Fulfillment by Amazon. And what that is, basically, Amazon has these warehouses all over the United States, and any of their other marketplaces, Amazon USA, you can actually sell in Amazon Canada, Amazon UK, Amazon Germany. You can actually sell in any marketplace in the world as long as you're from an eligible country. And we're gonna cover that later in this video. But basically, Amazon has these warehouses, and you can actually use their warehouses to import products from China that you private label. Now, you probably don't know what private labeling is. Private labeling is basically, you find a product that's already selling well, and you just put your brand on it. You just create a brand, and you put your logo and brand on it, and then you import it from usually China, but it can be other countries such as Vietnam, but usually it's China. So we're just going to take China as the example for this video. So you import it from China. It goes from China to the Amazon warehouse in the United States, for example, if you want to sell in the United States. And then Amazon basically packages everything for you. And whenever a customer buys your product on Amazon FBA, actually Amazon does everything. They'll ship your product out, they'll pack it, they'll handle the customer service, they'll even process returns for you. So, ever since it came out, obviously it's been a no-brainer in terms of making passive income, because now all you literally need is a laptop and an internet connection to be able to sell on Amazon. Before, you would have had to ship product from Amazon to your house, and sit there and package everything. You don't have to do that anymore. I haven't seen physically a lot of my products. And that's because with Amazon, you can just ship it from, straight from the supplier to the Amazon warehouse, and then you basically never see your product. So it's super, super passive. I believe it's the most passive income stream there is available right now, out of all of them, or if we're talking about Shopify, affiliate marketing, if you guys have been kind of looking into making money online. So that's what Amazon FBA is. So basically, just selling on Amazon and using Amazon's fulfillment network, Amazon's warehouses, and you basically pay them a small fee, and you still pocket, the way that I show it in these videos, you still pocket a sizable profit, enough for you to be able to make $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month, $50,000 a month in profit, right? It's obviously, however many products you release and however much money you want to make, it's totally up to you, and how much you want to essentially scale your brand. So that is what Amazon FBA is, and that is how you make money on it. You don't have to have any previous experience, with any kind of e-commerce, with making money online, with computers. It's really not difficult, as long as you know what to do, as long as you know what to expect. And obviously this video is, the purpose of this video is for you to know what to expect, and as long as you know the formula to succeed, because essentially Amazon FBA, just like any other income stream, is a formula, and as long as you know it and you know what to expect along the way, there's no reason why you shouldn't succeed. As long as you persist, as long as you believe in yourself, there's literally no reason why you can't succeed. Anyone in the world now with the internet can make money online and can completely change their life with something like Amazon FBA. So now that you know what Amazon FBA is, what is the first step? All right, so I would say the first step is, obviously starting to watch videos, kind of getting to know the income stream. And so it's great. It's amazing that you guys are on my channel right now. I've got an amazing variety of content on Amazon FBA, so you guys can get started watching that after this video, because I want you guys to watch this video. I want you guys to know what to expect. So now that we know what Amazon FBA is, what you should do is you should set up your Seller Central account. Now there's a couple of rules with this. If you had a Seller Central account before, you can't make a second one just like that. You have to have permission. So if you haven't had one, you can just go and set up your Seller Central account. I'm gonna put the link for everything in the description, by the way, so you guys know exactly where to go with how to do everything. So yeah, you can just go sellercentral.amazon.com, set up your account, and there's two plans. So there's the individual plan and there is the professional plan. So the difference is the individual plan doesn't cost anything monthly, but with every single sale, you actually actually have to pay Amazon a fee. But with the professional plan, you pay $39.99 a month if it's in the US marketplace. It's the same in Canada, so it's $40 Canadian. And then you have to check wherever you are. But in the United States, it's $40 a month, $39.99. And that is the plan that you need if you want to commit to this income stream and if you want to do private labeling, which is what we're talking about in this video. So what I recommend is when you're going to go and create your Seller Central account, choose individual plan first because you don't have a product yet in the warehouse. As soon as you actually find a product, later down the road, you did product research, right? Once we get to that, as soon as you find a product, I would recommend, it's actually coming into Amazon, make sure you switch from individual to professional because if you don't switch, you're going to really hurt your profit because Amazon's going to take a lot of money out of each sale, from you if you forgot to switch. So I would recommend as soon as your product gets into Amazon, switch to the professional plan, and then basically Amazon's going to take away $40 a month from your account balance, from your sales. And obviously if you're not making any sales, it's just going to go from your credit card that you put on there. So until you actually find a product, you don't have to pay a dime. You don't have to pay anything. You can just do the individual plan, and now that you've got an account on Seller Central, now you know that you're actually eligible to sell because they have to approve you to sell. And there's a couple of documents that you have to submit depending on where you're from. So there's like a tax interview kind of thing. It's a really simple process. It's like you just sign basically a form literally in Google Chrome. There's like a form and you just sign it and you basically tell them what your business is, what the name of your business is, and things like that. And now actually here's another important thing. So now let's talk about another very important thing, and that is the business license. Now if you've owned a business before, and it doesn't matter if you have or not, but if you've owned a business before, then you probably already have a business license. So in the United States, there's a couple different structures. In the United States, there's an S Corp, there's a C Corp, there's an LLC. So usually you would go with the LLC. And the reason why you want a business license is because if you don't have a business license, you are a sole proprietor. It means that if someone sues you one day, which is probably not going to happen, right? But you want to be protected. So if someone sues you one day, they can actually go and take away your personal assets. But if you have a business license, you're actually completely separate. So your business is a separate entity from you, so they can't go after your personal assets, they can't seize anything, and they can only basically take away what's in the business. That's why you always want to have a business license, and actually to sell on Amazon, you need a business license. So to create an LC, if you're American and you want to create an LC, it's super simple. LegalZoom, I'm going to put the link for that in the description below, and I would recommend doing this as soon as possible. It's not very expensive in the United States. In Canada, so I'm actually Canadian, so that's where my business legally is. And so it's more expensive there. It's between $400 and $600 depending on where you are in the country in Canada. And it's not called an LLC, it's called a corporation. So you basically get incorporated or you become incorporated. For example, like in Germany, it's AB, and there's all these different kinds of business structures. So what I would recommend, wherever country you're from, I would look into the business structure in your country. That way if you make a business structure and if you get a business license in your country, you can still sell on Amazon. You don't have to have an LLC. Let's say you're from France, you don't have to have an American LLC. You can actually have a French business and you use that to sell on Amazon FBA. So on Seller Central, they ask you for your ID. I think it's 2 pieces, so driver's license and passport. So just once you get that uploaded, once you told them about your business, then you are set, you are good to go. Super simple, you haven't paid a dime yet at all, and you're on the individual plan, so that's good. So you're not being charged $40 a month. So now once you've got your Seller Central account set up, the next part, and this is probably the most important part of Amazon FBA, like completely, and that's product research. Product research is super, super important. What product research is basically finding that profitable product, finding that golden product, finding that home run product that is going to get you to $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month in profit, right? So a product can actually range, it depends, right? So product research is the most important part of Amazon FBA. It is also the most challenging, but don't let that discourage you. It is not very hard. All you have to do is put in a couple hours every single night, or every single morning, just consistent work. Just put in a couple hours. And how do you actually do product research? I recommend a tool called JungleScout. This is the tool that I've used since day one of me being on Amazon FBA. So I started selling on Amazon FBA in last March 2017, so literally 1 year ago. I've been using the same tool ever since. And there's actually 2 tools that you need. So you'll need the JungleScout web app as well as the JungleScout Chrome extension. Now here's the difference. One of these tools, you buy it once, you get it for life, all right? And that's attached to your Chrome. So basically it lets you see how much money a product is making. You can just pull it up on a listing. Also, when you type in, for example, barbecue gloves, you can pull up the JungleScout Chrome extension. That's the tool. And it will show you how much money every single listing is making. It's gonna show you the reviews of every single listing. And that way you can can actually gauge and you can actually see how competitive it is based on certain things. And we're going to go over the, what you want to look out for in terms of reviews in a second here. But that is the Chrome extension. Now for the JungleScout web app, I would recommend getting the startup plan. It's, I believe it's like $39 a month, and only get it for 1 month. So what I do is, well, I do product research every month, so I actually have it on a recurring monthly thing. But you can sign up for the monthly plan. I believe if you go on the site, it will first offer you a year. So just switch to the 1 month. And if it's 1 month, just sign up for the month. And if you don't need to do product research the next month, you can always just cancel it. And that's what I would recommend you do. So just, whenever you need to do product research, sign up for it, pay the $39 a month, and then cancel it right away so you have it for the month. And it is super, super effective in finding products and giving you ideas for amazing niches to get into, for amazing, brands to build, because now you have kind of like different varieties of products and niches that you can go and analyze and go deep down into the hole. So in the JungleScout web app, I would recommend, these are the filters that I would recommend you use, all right? So, and I would refer to the product research videos on my channel. I've got a ton, and that's where I show like actually how to use the JungleScout web app and what like filters to put in. But typically, here are the filters for, that you want to put into that tool. So first off, for revenue, I would recommend anything above 6,000 or 7,000, maybe 5,000 or 6,000, all right, in revenue, and anything below, I would say 40,000. Right? Once you get up to 35,000 a month, and this is a month by the way. So once you get up to 35,000 a month, 40,000 a month, that's where it starts getting, especially for a first product, it's possible, but that's where it starts getting a little bit gimmicky, and maybe it's not, maybe the product is restricted and things like that. So we're going to get to that further in this video as well. Now the next most important thing is reviews. Now for the reviews, I would recommend nothing more than about 660, 640, because that will show you products that are below 640 reviews, and that you can still compete against on this. I'm talking about the American marketplace. You can still compete against that if you do everything else amazingly. So if you've got an amazing brand, if you've got an amazing product, amazing logo, amazing listing, amazing pictures, things like that. So you can still compete on the American marketplace. If you try to find a product that has under 100 reviews, so before, maybe 1 year ago, people were recommending under 50 reviews, and that is honestly unrealistic. It's possible, but that is where you'll find products that just won't last long, from what I've seen. So anything below 600 reviews, that's where you'll find like legitimate products that actually solve a need and that actually solve a problem for a specific target market, a specific niche, and you can actually build a brand around that. So that's what I recommend. Anything below 660 reviews, you can compete against. The perfect range, I would say, for a product when you find one is 130, 160, 250 reviews, 400 reviews. And I'm saying, I've personally dominated a niche, and where I came in and I had to compete against a seller with 560 reviews, 440 reviews. So you shouldn't be worried as long as you're confident in your abilities to brand your product correctly. You shouldn't be worried with reviews unless the product has literally 1,000 something reviews, 1,500 reviews, 2,000 reviews. Then yes, it becomes much tougher. The next most important thing is the product weight. Now you don't want something that weighs too much because it's going to be super expensive to ship, because you're essentially shipping the product from China to the United States, right, or whatever marketplace you're selling in, and that is expensive in and of itself. So I always do air shipping, and we're going to get to this part as well. But for the weight, I would recommend nothing more than, at the most 2 pounds. Usually you wouldn't go over 1.6, 1.7 pounds per each unit. However, if your product per unit is like 3 pounds or 2.5 pounds, and even then with the shipping costs and everything, you've got the invoices from your supplier and you calculated the profit margin, which by the way, I show how to do in the Amazon Freedom course, as well as all these other things. The link for the Amazon Freedom course is below. That's my course. You get me as a mentor for life. So I show how to do everything, and you get access to tools that will let you calculate profit and things like that. So, if your product is 3 pounds per unit and there's still profit to be made, like there's still a good profit margin, then, that's awesome, because you are going to differentiate, and nobody's going to, people are usually afraid when they see a heavy product because everyone's going, like sheep, everyone's going with the same parameters. And if you go just outside of the herd, and you find a way to actually, kill it, then you'll make so much money. And that is just how it is in business and in life in general. So it all depends, and you have to be the judge yourself based on the information that you see, based on the data that you've got, and based on your common sense and your judgment. Now for the categories, the best categories for private labeling are, and I'm going to read them off right now. So baby, beauty, let's see what else we got. Health and personal care, home and garden, home and kitchen, home improvement is good too. Industrial and scientific is good. If you're into that, it's got a lot of like strange things and just sciencey things and industrial things. So you can actually find some pretty cool stuff there to private label as well. We've got office products, patio, lawn and garden, pet supplies, sports and outdoors, toys and games. Now a lot of people ask me, Dan, is it possible to do product research and find an amazing product that's going to make you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month, $30,000 a month without JungleScout, without product research software. Look, I'm going to be absolutely honest with you guys. I've always used JungleScout, and as soon as I actually found out, as soon as I started selling on Amazon, I right away went for the good stuff. Like, I was like, why would I waste my time, trying to do this without like, a tool that's literally like $39 a month or whatever. Like, what, you can't afford $39 for the 1 month you're gonna do product research, right? And then so it's $39 plus I paid $250 for the JungleScout Pro Chrome extension. You want the Pro because it has the opportunity score. The Lite doesn't have the opportunity score, so basically it shows how good a product is out of 10. So it helps out a lot, especially if you're a beginner. But yeah, I just went straight for the tools, and I've never tried doing product research without the tools. Honestly, I think it will be very, very, very difficult. You're not gonna have any data to go from. You're literally gonna only have something like the bestsellers rank, which is an outdated method people used to sell on Amazon many, many years ago when these tools didn't exist. So if you don't wanna waste your time, and if you want something, like if you want an actual tool that will actually, they actually have a good chance of finding a product, and I guarantee you will if you keep searching, and if you keep putting consistent time in, give it a couple weeks, maybe at the most a month, and you will for sure find a product, then, for 100% get JungleScout. That's the one that I recommend. I don't know about the other ones. I haven't used the other ones, but JungleScout is the one that I recommend, and I absolutely recommend using it. So now it's gonna show you a list of products. And now the next most important thing is you're gonna look for products in that list. And also there's a couple other advanced techniques as well that I show on this channel and in the Amazon Freedom course. But basically the premise is you don't only want to look at the products that are showing up in the JungleScout list there in the web app. You don't only want to look at the products there because those are the products that everyone is seeing. And I bet if you do one of those products, and if it's not restricted or anything like that, then you will make money. But it will be much easier, and the actual golden products, in my opinion, every single one of my products I found by going through the JungleScout web app and then actually clicking on a product in there and then going down the whole, like going down the related products, really looking at the niche. I was like, oh, I'm searching through the list there, and I'm like, wow, I never even heard of this kind of product, and it sounds cool. There's a whole line of these products, there's a whole category of these products and a whole like target market here. So that's where you will find your product. I guarantee it. That's the best way. That's how I found my products on Amazon. Remember, guys, you don't always want to be doing what everyone else is doing, or else you're just going to get the same result as everyone else, right? And so, as long as you're following the formula, as long as you're watching these videos, and maybe you've taken the Amazon Freedom course, then you have literally nothing to worry about. I am sure you will succeed. So now that you've actually found the product, you want to make sure to check if the whole niche is demand. So what you do, let's say you found barbecue gloves. So you'd go to Amazon, you type in BBQ gloves. So those are like the most common generic keywords that you think that someone would be typing in to find that product. And so then you pull up the JungleScout Chrome extension and you look at the number of reviews, you look at the revenue. If, the revenue there, if, the products are making like 10,000 revenue, 15,000, 20,000, 25,000, then clearly there is demand, all right? If the products are like, the highest revenue is like 6,000 or 7,000, that is a little bit riskier. There's other things that you're gonna have to check as well, which I'm gonna get to in a second here. But, if something is like 15,000, 20,000, then yes, that's a great opportunity to make money and actually get your product in there. Now, when you're looking for products, I always recommend, think of the brand that you can actually build. Think of the possible brand that you can build there. You wanna have 2 or 3 other products in mind that after you release this product, and if it succeeds, and it probably will succeed if there's demand and if there's not a lot of reviews, then you want to have your second and third product already in your head. That way, you know what to release and you know how to build out your brand. You've got a product line of 3 to 5 to 7 products. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, and once you get to this stage, is tracking the product, seasonality, Google Patents, and Google Trends. All right. So you want to make sure that the product, because when you pull up the Chrome extension, you get a snapshot of the sales happening right now. You don't know how the sales are going to be in a month by the time your product actually gets in there, because maybe it's 3 weeks or 2 weeks, but usually, from the time that you found your product to your product actually getting into Amazon, it will take between 2 and 4 weeks. Depending on how fast your supplier can make it, depending on the shipping. The first thing you want to check is you want to track the product, because like I always say, the numbers in JungleScout are just estimates. They're just estimates. They're not accurate. It's just an algorithm that kind of estimates based on the bestsellers rank. So what you want to do is you want to track the product. Now in JungleScout, there's a thing called the JungleScout Product Tracker. You can just paste the link in there and it will show you a graph, and you can actually go by the days and you can check like how many units are being sold every single day. Sometimes it won't show you, and it'll show you an estimate instead. That only happens when the seller puts a seller limit on the product. That happens sometimes, but the JungleScout Product Tracker is actually very accurate in my experience. The next thing you want to check for is seasonality. Now you're going to need a Chrome extension called Keepa. I'm going to put the link below as well. So if you guys know the site Camel, basically Keepa just takes that site and puts it under your product, and it will show you a history, of like how long the product's been up and how well it's been selling, right? They'll show you the sales rank. So it's super effective because it allows you to see like, okay, a month ago, it wasn't selling, now suddenly it's selling. So that will, these things can actually give you an idea of whether it's going to keep selling. And what the patterns are. You can actually go to like, maybe a year or 2 years or 5 years or however long the product's been selling, and you can see the product history and you can see the graphs like, okay, it goes up every summer. And another tool that I recommend using is Google Trends. Google Trends is amazing. You go on Google Trends and it will show you, so you type in barbecue gloves, for example, or maybe it's a summer product, right? And you don't know it's a summer product, so you type in, for example, I don't know, like some kind of pool toy, so you type in pool toy and then into Google Trends, and then you type in United States for the marketplace or wherever you're selling, and it's going to show you a graph. And if you go to the past 2 or 5 years, it will show you, you can actually see like the pattern, right? And if the line is straight on Keepa and on Google Trends, that's a good sign. If it's like, zigzagging, it's not a good sign, all right? So that's all you have to know. If it's zigzagging, it probably means that it's seasonal and the demand is, very up and down. But if the line in Keepa and in Google Trends is straight like that, like sideways, then that's a great sign. That means that you don't have anything to worry about. By the time your product gets in, it will still sell, and demand can even go up. Now the next thing you need to check for is patents. These are very important, and you can actually go and either pay someone on Fiverr to check for patents. Just search up like patents, and it's like $10. Someone, there's amazing people on there. They're going to find you your product, and they're going to see if there's a patent on it. Because if you try to sell a patented product, the suppliers in China have no idea what's patented or not. They can make the exact same product. They're good at copying things, right? But they have no idea if it's patented or not. So they're not going to tell you until your product gets into Amazon. And if it's patented, then Amazon's just going to remove it, or you're going to get a letter from the patent holder, from the company that owns the patent, and they're going to basically threaten to take you down and sue you. So you want to make sure, obviously you don't want to get sued, you want to make sure that you check for patents. So Google Patents is the site that you want to use for checking patents. You can do it yourself. You literally go on Google Patents and you type in the product name. If you're concerned, generic things like barbecue gloves, that's not really, there's not really a patent on that because it's so generic. Patents only exist for certain designs. Like you can't just patent a whole table, just a table in general. That means that no one else can make a table. You have to patent a certain design of the table, a certain mechanism in the table. So it's a very certain thing. So yeah, so if you don't know how to do patents, just find someone on Fiverr, $10, super worth it. It'll prevent you headaches in the long run, prevent you from losing thousands of dollars. Or you can just do it yourself. Google Patents, that's the site. So go and search up your product there. Now the last thing you need to check for is if the product is restricted. There are a lot of restricted products on Amazon, and again, the Chinese suppliers, they don't know what's restricted, what's not restricted. So it's your job to make sure that it's not restricted. And what I recommend doing is, if you don't know, anything that's like consumable, anything that goes on your face, anything that has any kind of chemicals in it, that's gonna have issues, or it might have issues, not always. And anything that requires FDA approval, you want to make sure that it's actually FDA approved. You can just literally Google the product name and then FDA, you'll find it. So another thing is you can call Amazon seller support, and you can actually ask them, literally search up the number on Google, Amazon seller support, and you can give them a competitor's ASINs, and you can ask if you are able to sell the same product as them, if you're able to fulfill it on Amazon, if it's restricted. You're basically asking them if it's restricted. And if they say you're good, just get email proof. I would even recommend calling a couple times, you get email proof, and you're good to go. All right, moving on. So now the next part of this step-by-step complete guide is shipping. All right, I've always done air shipping. I always recommend doing air shipping. It's just, it's the most hassle-free, headache-free. Basically, your supplier, does basically everything for you. It goes through customs. They usually use their own forwarder. The two best air shipping companies are DHL and FedEx. I've never had any issues with DHL or FedEx. They're absolutely great. There's also UPS for shipping. That takes longer. So DHL or FedEx would take between 5 and 7 business days, sometimes even 3. It'll be super fast sometimes if it's express. So air shipping is obviously the most expensive, but it's the most headache-free. You don't have to, organize so your product gets picked up at the port. You don't have to deal with any kind of ports. It just goes straight from China to the, to the United States or wherever you're selling, and it clears customs. Like DHL or FedEx, they use their own brokers, so you don't have to worry about brokers or anything like that. Now, sea shipping will take literally like a month or a month and a half. That's why I don't recommend using sea shipping, and it is much cheaper. And sometimes you'll be tempted to do sea shipping because you found a product and it's not worth it doing air shipping, but it's worth it doing sea shipping. But in my opinion, do not do the product. Find a product that has an amazing, healthy profit margin with air shipping, and you'll be good to go. And that's what I did. I've always done that. I don't want to deal with sea shipping. But if you do want to use sea shipping, I'm going to link a forwarder in the description. They have a ton of experience with Amazon FBA, so if you do want to use sea shipping, you can use them. Now, let's talk about profit margins. As we're talking about profit margins and shipping and how that can affect that, you want to aim for a profit per unit of $10. That is the ideal. I wouldn't go lower than $7 or $8. You can go $6 if your product sells an insane amount of units, so you're like 5,000 units a month, then obviously if you do the math, 5,000 times $6 profit per unit, it's still worth it, right? But it's just much easier to make money if you go for a high profit margin product at the beginning. So in terms of percentages, I'd recommend the ideal profit margin is obviously above 45%, and then 50% and 55%, 60%, those are like high profit margins. They're possible, especially if you offer a premium version of your product. You really get people and customers to pay more if you offer that added value. So I would recommend going below 35% profit margin. That is like very, very low. It's going to be very tough to do things like PPC and just to make money in general, to make a significant amount of money. You can still make a couple thousand that way, but in my opinion, you want to go for 45% or 50% profit margin. All right, so let's get to the next part in the step-by-step Amazon FBA guide. And the next part is the logo and the branding. This is super, super, super important. This is probably the most important thing in private labeling, other than finding an amazing product. So many beginners and so many new Amazon sellers think that they don't have to put a logo on their Amazon product, or they can literally just literally take the product as it comes out of the factory and just sell it on Amazon. And yes, you can do that. Sometimes it actually works, and it actually blows my mind. That just shows how much room there is for people that are actually going to take this seriously on Amazon. Like I've always been saying, it's only the beginning of e-commerce. Most people don't shop online exclusively or don't even shop online at all. So it's just the start. I mean, it's 2018 and we haven't even gotten to like 2030, 2040. That's when it's going to be at its peak, in my opinion. So you absolutely need a logo on your product, and you also need a box design, but not always. If your competitor has a box, if your product has to come in a box and has a design on it, if your competitor has a box, then I would recommend getting a box design. And if you don't know how to do this, you can literally just hire someone on Fiverr or Upwork. You can go on those websites, they're outsourcing websites, and you can find amazing graphic designers for cheap to make you a box design for your product or an amazing logo. Just make sure that it looks great, and make sure that it's target market relevant, that it's relevant to your target market. You don't want the logo to be, you don't want it to be just some random thing, right? You want to make sure that it's actually relevant to your target market. Another thing that you can add to your product is an instructions, like a piece of paper with instructions, so it's an insert, so you can also get that designed. So I would recommend, you always want to emulate success. You don't want to innovate, you want to emulate success, and then maybe put your own little spin on it. So look at the top seller in your niche, see what they're doing, see what the packaging is, and try to closely emulate that, and try to even, if you want to, you can improve on it. But even if you emulate it, you'll still make a good amount of money. So logo and branding, absolutely essential. It will completely, that's what separates you from any other person just selling, cheap Chinese stuff on Amazon FBA. All right, so the next part is creating the listing. So for the listing, you're gonna need a barcode, and that is what identifies your product. So it's a UPC code, unique product code. I have a video on this channel talking about the differences between getting a cheap barcode and getting an expensive barcode. I've always gotten my barcodes from barcodesmania.com, and I can put the link for that in the description below. I'm gonna put that in one of the links there. So, there were stories that they use secondhand barcodes. I've literally never had a problem. I've never heard of a single person on Barcodesmania having an issue. So it's like $5 a barcode, and that's for your UPC code. And so you're gonna need that, so you can buy that, it's $5. And then you're gonna have your supplier sticker it on your product, or you can also include it as part of your box design, so you can just include it there and you can send it to your graphic designer that you found if you hired a graphic designer. So for the listing, you are going to need obviously an amazing title and amazing bullet points and amazing product description. I've got videos on this channel, and obviously I show how to do this in depth in the Amazon Freedom course as well. So you really, really want to put in the effort. You really want to make it sound amazing. Make sure you use proper grammar, proper vocabulary, proper English, or whatever language you're using for whatever marketplace you're selling in. So it's super, super important. Customers notice that right away. Also, you want to have, this is like an insanely important part of this, you want to have beautiful pictures, and I would recommend getting 2 pictures on a white background. Your first picture absolutely needs to be on a white background. So 2 pictures on a white background, 2 pictures of it being in use, or action shots they're called, and then maybe like 1 picture with a model, and then 1 picture with just like the packaging, right? And so that's just like a generic template. Obviously, if your product doesn't need a model, then, if it's not like a beauty product or something, then don't use a model. But pictures are super important. I would even pay, for pictures, $30 a picture is standard, $20 a picture at the lowest. You can find product photographers, literally anyone. You can find a local, college kid. They obviously need money, for school and stuff, so you just find them. You can probably find a lot of college kids on like Craigslist with amazing cameras who are willing to do the shots for you. Or if you have an amazing camera, you can try it yourself. Just make sure these pictures are high quality. And then, like I said, for the title and for the bullet points and for the description, you want to copy or emulate. You don't want to copy, but you want to emulate your major competitor, so the one that's selling the most, making the most money, and just paraphrase it, put your own spin on it, and just improve it. You don't want to completely change it up, because if something's already working, right? All you have to do is just, literally kind of like copy it and sort of change it a little bit. You don't have to like completely change the description. You don't have to completely change everything. You don't have to do that, all right? Now let's get to one of the most important parts, and that's launching the product. You need to launch the product. How do you launch the product? So basically what I mean by launching the product is, when you first put your product up, when it gets into the Amazon warehouse, it's on like page 20, or it could be on page 9 or page 7. It will take a couple extra steps for you to actually get it on page 1, because unless it's on page 1, it's not gonna sell. It will only sell and you'll only start making money once it's on page 1. So how do you actually get your product on page 1? There is 2 ways. The first way is you can do it yourself, and you can basically run a coupon giveaway. You can use JumpSend, you can use Facebook review groups, so you can get people to get your product for 97% off. You send them a coupon, and you basically wanna find between 10 and 25 people a day for 3 to 7 days, 3 to 5 days, 4 to 6 days, depends on how competitive your niche is. And so the rule of thumb is the competitor at the bottom of the first page. You want to see, how many they're selling a day, and that's how many you want to give away per day. That way you're going to be on the first page. I would even give away a little bit more. And so you want to run that giveaway for 3 to 5 days. That way, sales are everything. With the Amazon algorithm, Amazon will detect how much you're selling. Even if you are, running a giveaway, for Amazon, it looks like sales. So they'll put you on the first page. And as soon as you're on the first page, you won't have to run the giveaway anymore. And, you're going to start getting those organic sales coming in. And as long as you remain in stock, you're going to stay on the first page. As long as, you have good reviews and things like that, and you maintain your listing, you're gonna be golden. Now the second way is to use a launch service, and the best launch service is Viral Launch, and so I've used it, and a lot of my students have used it, and it's great, and it costs about $400, so if you got that money up front, you can use it. Basically what's gonna happen is they're actually gonna do the whole giveaway for you, and they're gonna put your product on the first page for you. They're not gonna run PPC for you, but the only thing they're gonna do is put your product on the first page for you. They're gonna tell you how many you need to give away, how many coupons, and things like that. So that's if you have some extra money, and if you wanna, just make sure that you get on page 1 and make sure that you don't screw up this part of the process, because you really need to get on page 1 to get those sales. All right, so now your product is launched, it's up and running, it's selling. So what do you need to do to keep making money? And make this long term? The main thing is you want to make sure that your product stays in stock. So let's say you have 300 units left, you're selling 30 a day. So you've got 10, 300 divided by 30, you've got 10 days of stock left. And let's say, your supplier lead time, and lead time means how long it takes for your supplier to manufacture a product. Your supplier lead time, let's say, is 15 days. Well, that means that you should have ordered your new batch 5 days ago, or even 7 days ago, because, now you're gonna be out of stock for 5 or 7 days while your supplier is making your product. So super important, because if you run out of stock, your sales rank, so you're slowly gonna get to page 2, page 3, page 5, and Amazon's gonna slowly lower your sales rank and make it worse. And so it's not as bad as you think. Like if if you're out of stock for a week or two, Amazon, and as soon as you get back in stock, sometimes you will even stay on page 1, it depends. But if it's a competitive niche, you will, you're gonna have to basically relaunch your product and either redo a Viral Launch or redo a coupon giveaway. And now let's get to the last step in the whole process, and that's how to actually build out your brand, how to scale, and how to really explode your Amazon business. So you've got your first product up and running, right? Remember what I was saying earlier in this video about having 2 or 3 other product ideas in the same niche that are gonna solve the same customers' problems. Those are the ones you wanna release next. And you're gonna build a brand. You're gonna have things like a brand Instagram, brand Facebook page. You're gonna start running Facebook ads. You're gonna start using ClickFunnels and stuff to capture customer emails and things like that for giveaways and for future product launches. There's actually a video on this channel about the best strategy to get to 30,000 a month on Amazon FBA, and I lay out the whole strategy. It's the best strategy. It uses the 80-20 rule, which is the Pareto principle. So 20% or 80% of your results come from 20% of your work, and 80% of the money you make on Amazon is going to come from 20% of your products. That's just how it is. So you can go ahead and check out that video. I'll put a link to it below as well. So building out your brand, adding new products in, and looking at what the competitors have to offer as well in your target market, and seeing if they're releasing new products and keeping up with that as well, and also innovating a little bit here and there. That is what's going to get you to multiple 6 figures and even 7 figures a year on Amazon FBA. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that now you actually know exactly, step by step, the timeline with Amazon FBA, what goes into every single step. And also, I didn't mention the timeline, but from all the way from the beginning, right now, from not knowing to what Amazon is, for me, it took 1.5 months to 2 months to see significant income. So that's what I would say, between 1 month to 2 months. So in 1 month and 2 months, that's when you're gonna start making significant income if you put in your all right now. If you guys are interested in a complete step-by-step guide to making 6 and 7 figures a year on Amazon FBA, you can take the Amazon Freedom course. It's my course. You'll also get me as a mentor for life. So basically you'll have access to my private Facebook profile, my private Facebook chat. You'll be able to ask me questions, and I answer every single day, and I answer pretty quickly. So the link for that is below. And also, if you guys enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media, Snapchat, and Instagram. Links are below. I post some cool stuff on there as well. And yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.